Hey everyone, it's Braylon and welcome back to my channel. You're literally standing in my living room and I'm in my entryway kind of area. I thought I would do like a day in the life type of vlog, especially with my new job. I feel like there's so much I could share about what I'm doing each day to support teachers and give you all some really great examples of like when I'm in the classroom versus when I'm in my office. And I think I'll probably do a bunch of these if I'm being honest. And I need to remind myself of that so that I don't like jam pack this vlog with so many things. It's actually the night before. So this is Wednesday night, or sorry, Wednesday afternoon. I don't know time. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna do tonight. Yeah, I'm excited to start vlogging again and setting up my camera and being in different areas, and so it's great. First need to go to my office, not my office, but the office of my apartment where my roommates work from home usually. I'll show you my desk in there. So through my kitchen, ooh, let's see if we can make it. Oh no, gosh, we can't make it through the door. Here we are in the nice office space. I bought these headphones. They're just JBLs off of Amazon. I love them. My hair's kind of crazy, but like whatever. They were only like $20 and they sound really good for like this kind of stuff. This is the table that I want to use. There's like a chair in front of it, and then this has been here for like ever, and it's not even really used. It's like glued together. It's mostly for parties and stuff. So I'm gonna move it and find a little spot for it, maybe next to the fireplace. And then I'm gonna like, I think, twist the chair around so I have like a nice surface to paint on. And yeah, we'll get started with it. So let's see if we can do this. Okay, so at least it's kind of like all out of the way, so then I have a little space for my painting. Well, and then this is on the ground. I don't know, but at least it's still in its tower shape. Even though I'm backlit, I'm sorry about that. I like can't control that, but I think this is ideal because like I can put my water and my paints here. Oh, I love it. If I want to watch TV, I think I'm going to set up my laptop on the mantle of the fireplace. All right, good morning. It is time to go to work. Since it's still so early. It's so early. It's like 6:35. I try to get to work around 7:15 if I can. Yeah, so I got my little backpack. Now that I'm not teaching, I don't bring as much, which is honestly kind of nice. So I'm digging it, but I have to get to work. I am just kind of drinking a little bit of my coffee and waiting here. Actually, I want to show you the view. There's not much, but my street's really cute. And some of my neighbors have rooftops, and I'm so jealous. So hold on. Like, look at their rooftops. Sometimes they sit out there. There's lights at night. Ugh, it's so cool. It's been about 2.5 hours. I'm here. School started. Everything's going great. I'm just logging into my computer. I actually observed in 2 classrooms this morning already for morning meetings. There were a couple things that were going really well in some classes and some stuff that people needed help with. And so I've talked about this in other videos, but I tend to go into classrooms to observe, and not because I want to like go in punitively or anything or keep record, but if teachers email me and ask for support, or I've just noticed things, I'll kind of go in just to see. And I tend to always give like one thing just to be like, that was amazing. This might help you, you know? So in one classroom I observed it went really, really well, but some kids were just not super engaged, especially kids that had devices. And so I think I'm gonna send a follow-up email to that teacher with some resources that might help just some visuals to walk around so that they can choose and point or just stuff like that. So I'm going to mark that down, but I'll show you after I do more informal observations, I actually mark them in my Google Drive in my notes. So let me just get there and I'll try to block off the name. So I have a teachers folder for each building. And then when I meet with teachers, I keep a record just in like a Google document. So I'll show it to you. All right, so I'm gonna block a bunch of stuff. So every time I meet with them, I keep track of like the agenda of things I want to talk about. They can add to this document and then note. All right, so I've been putting just different, I don't know, fun jazz songs to pass the time. But I wanted to show you an example of, this doesn't have any important information in it or anything like that. I used fake names and fake birthdays and all that stuff, but this is what I set up for each teacher, and I have a whole one for the whole school program. So each teacher gets a page on this document. It has all their oh, there's the flush. Each teacher has all of their students and this whole document, so they can keep track of when the last meeting was, when the next one is, the diagnosis, and then we've been marking them in blue if the meetings have already happened. And this is just a good example of one. And I think I talked about this in other videos, but I also, like when I was a teacher, I would keep track like this for all of my students and the dates and everything. And then I would put it in my Google Calendar. And so I kind of did it this year for all the teachers that I work with. I put all of the IEP due dates in a calendar invite with me and them so that it was ready for the beginning of the year. And I made them this whole spreadsheet. And then I also documented a month ahead of time when to like make the meetings, call the parents, also in a document and also as a Google invite, so that we both get that notification at the same time so I can check with them. If it's a more veteran teacher, I didn't do as much, but for all the new teachers, I did all of this. And so that way, at the beginning of the year, we were all set. So far, all the meetings have been pretty smooth. I think it's just learning like the ins and outs of different buildings that I'm just not in all the time, and different like cultures, like little small details that happen between buildings and programs. But for the most part, it's been really smooth. Oh. Well, it's half the battle with filming. Sorry that there's music. I have my IEP right here. For all teachers that I work with, I ask that they give me the IEP at least 1 or 2 days before it's due to be sent to the parents. And it's not because I want to get them in trouble or anything, but I actually review them. And then that way I can check like, are we in compliance with things, or do you need to add details here or stuff like that. And for me personally, I do much better pen and paper. My old boss used to send us edits on Adobe and would like highlight things we needed to add. It's just not me. So I edit it with pen and paper, and then that way as I go back through the IEP on my computer, I can flip to the page, see which section, make the edits. But this has been a pretty good system. It has helped us a lot because we've found small things like, oh, this was left over from last year, it needs to be changed. And I don't know about you all, but some IEP like writing systems, like some of the online systems, whether it's PowerSchool, Frontline, or there's so many options when districts write IEPs, like what system they use, they all look different. And the one that we use at my school has a lot of weird like drop down menus essentially, and so then it makes it harder because you can miss stuff. So like right off the bat, there's a whole chunk of things that are missing right on this IEP first page, but that's because I know that it's a drop down menu that teacher might not have seen. So this is also part of the deal, is I'll sit here for about 15-20 minutes and I'll review the IEP. Luckily, I did go to this meeting a couple weeks ago to help the teacher. But yeah, it should be in here. And then because all of the teachers also keep data with me and I help them with the data, if they need it, I'll input the data for them. It's helpful. So I can have my computer and I can check both. So I'm gonna work on this IEP, and then that'll put me, what time is it? I've gotten a lot done. It's almost 10:30. So I'll do this until 11, and then I need to go observe a couple people and then have my lunch break really quick before I go support a classroom. Time to get started. Oh my God. Oh no. All right, we made it through halfway, more than halfway. It's noon. Like, you can tell it's the middle of the day because everybody's going to the bathroom and all I hear are the flushes. I got through so much stuff this morning. Most of my to-do list is all done, which is amazing. I observed in 2 classes, like I said earlier, and then I actually sent one of the teachers a bunch of stuff, which these products I actually really love. So I sent her the morning meeting bundle from, I forget who it's from. I'm going to put it right here. It's a little pricey, but it comes with like real pictures rather than clip art, which I love. And for some students in our program, they need the real pictures. It has like the calendar, everything, the calendar books, Velcro activities. So I've used that in classrooms in the past. So I sent that to her. I sent like a question of the day thing because I just felt like that would support some more learning. I also like completed my budget sheet, which is huge. When I do budget for my program, I do it by room and then like all together. And I just use Google Sheets, which is basically just Excel. So we did that. And what else did I do? I made a PD schedule. I have to set up a PD for somebody else. What else? I made data stuff. Oh, one thing is that one of the teachers I've been working with, I think her room might benefit from unique learning. I've talked about this in the past. Unique learning was not something I used in the past couple of years. I used it at the beginning of my teaching career, but within the last few years, I just haven't really used it. And so I don't know, but I think it would help certain people. So I think I'm going to purchase it. And it's when you get the whole bundle, it's not that much. I think it's like $500 or something. And I think the school might support that because it's curriculum. So that's kind of the bulk of what I've been doing. I sent a lot of IEPs home today, checked some paperwork stuff like correspondence stuff. And then I just got an order from Kava. So I'm going to eat my lunch. I have 20 minutes to eat my lunch before I have to be upstairs to cover a teacher for an IEP meeting. So I'm gonna eat this. I also have a stack. I don't know if you can see it. I have a stack right here of papers that I need to file. So that's coming up. But yeah, this is kind of the vibe. Like going and observing kids and teachers, coming back, doing paperwork, responding to emails, taking phone calls, all that stuff. So I'm gonna eat, and then I thought I would show you what I use as like a resource when I go and observe people, and some of the stuff that I created at the beginning of the year for like how many times I'm gonna come observe, what I'm gonna be looking for, all the staff questions I asked them at the beginning of the year, all that stuff. So I'm gonna enjoy my lunch, then we'll get into it. I don't remember the last time I spoke with you. I don't actually even remember what I was doing, but I just had a really great IEP meeting about a new student, and it was so great, and it got me thinking I should show what I tell my teachers to bring to the meeting. And this isn't just me, this is also the whole school, but we've kind of refined it to make it better. So I have, doesn't matter, this, you can barely read my handwriting. I have every teacher bring a meeting agenda with them to the meeting, and we actually project it up in the conference room, and it helps with the flow. And then they make copies, and inside is all of these pieces. So like inside is a list of the accommodations to talk about, a list of the service delivery and if we're going to change it. And I know every state is different, but in Massachusetts, when you have meetings, you have to go through all these pieces. And so this is just like an easy streamlined way to have it. And then you already have your notes set, have everything, another flush, have everything in there. And then as you're going through the meeting, whether you're projecting it or everyone has a copy, you can just flip through and you're all working from the same place. Some districts create IEPs and then go over them in the meeting. With me, we kind of meet as a collaborative group and talk about all the elements, and then we actually write the IEP afterwards. But everyone is different, so you know, it is what it is. But the agenda is helpful. So kind of going through like the safeguards and the attendance and the parent contact to make sure that's right. Going through student strengths, and then concerns, current progress, vision statement, classroom accommodations, testing accommodations, service delivery, extended school year, transportation, bullying prevention, and then any other questions. And this was not an eval, so there weren't any evaluations. So, all right, I'm finishing my chai. I have about 20-ish minutes left. Trying to figure out what I can do in 20 minutes. I don't want to do more than that because I want to go home and I want to cook. I think I'm going to bake a little bit. I'm going to paint, keep up my painting, and relax. So I just want to do like the bare minimum. So I'm not going to show too many details of this room, but I just wanted to show a couple things. So we all have smart boards, which is great. It was a huge purchase. Terrifying to even ask for such a purchase, but I talked earlier about morning meetings, so I just want to show you some things. So a lot of times they'll use the board kind of just to like either play videos or go through the months, and we've been really trying to work on keeping things simple with simple images that match the devices. Today is, there we go, Tuesday. They've been tracking like birthdays and stuff, and then they've been doing a weather graph. And so this room, I was just coming in to support a couple things. So I think I mentioned that I try to come in and just give like one piece of advice. And so in this one, I think all I said was like, just tweak a little bit of the timing. Just like not having videos that are as long or activities that are as long because it was losing some student interest. So that's the kind of stuff that I do when I come in. I'm not trying to like redo everything to make it my style or switch up someone's format or their plan. It's just like one small piece. And actually, let me bring you back to my office to show you kind of how I observe and what I'm looking for. Okay, we're back in my office. The lighting is kind of weird, but I want to talk a little bit about me observing. So I talked about it a little bit in the tour of my office in my previous video where I just talked about my new role and everything like that. But in July, so before the school year started, I would come into the building like once a week, and the whole point was for me to start preparing for things that were going to happen in the school year. But there was so much I didn't know about, so like I don't really think I prepared adequately, if I'm being honest, but I did do a couple things that have been beneficial. So I already showed you about the caseload. That was really helpful, getting the data stuff set up so that all the teachers could just start working on stuff, making sure the curriculum was organized so that they could hop in. But I also made this binder, and I have a couple of them depending on the staff, and I have a bunch of tabs, and it has the last name of the teachers and then a binder of last name of the paraprofessionals. And I try to see teachers once a week or once every other week. And I'll explain like how I came to that conclusion and what I've been looking for. And then I see paraprofessionals like once a month. And if I'm seeing a paraprofessional, it's because I'm going into like inclusion, or when they're teaching a small group, or when they're meeting with another teacher or solving a problem or something like that, just to like support them a little bit. Because I feel like when I was a teacher, I was always really curious about what they were doing, but I just didn't have the time in my schedule to go in and like give them suggestions or support them in any way. So I've been trying to do that. And I did a couple things at the beginning of the year. So in August, I met with each paraprofessional individually for 20 minutes. It was a lot of work, but I did it. That was a lot of people. And I asked them some of these questions. So how was your summer? What are you looking forward to? What's a professional learning goal you want? So do you want to learn a little bit more about special ed? Do you want to learn about the school system as a whole? Or are you interested in like a completely different career path? I asked them like what career they're looking forward to, because a lot of times paras are not in it forever. You know, they're not trying to be a para forever. So what other things do they want? Because sometimes I get emails about webinars or emails about cool master's programs or something, and I want to be able to not only support the teachers in their professional career, but the paras as well. So this was really helpful to talk with each person one-on-one to kind of get some ideas from them. And I did the same thing with the teachers. I don't think I have the teacher one. Hold on. Here we go. Here's the teacher one. So again, sorry about this lighting. I also met with the teachers and asked the same thing. Basically, like, where do you see yourself? You want to keep teaching in this class? What skills do you want to work on? What like kid-related goal? What professional-related goal? We planned at the beginning of the year our bi-weekly meetings, me and each teacher, or weekly if it's necessary. We took a good 30-minute chunk to go over their whole caseload, each kid, where to find all their information, when their things are due. I said earlier, there's a Google invite for all that. And just like fun things and not so fun things. And so that gave me like a really clear vision for each staff member. And so when I go in to observe teachers, I actually made this paper. Sorry, it's hard to read. The observation number, what we're working on. So in that beginning meeting, and or if they send me an email, you know, they want to work on their small group reading and make that a little better, or the morning meeting isn't flowing correctly, like what should we do? And so I mark what I'm working on. And if I work on something with them, it means observing, giving them resources, and then going in and observing like maybe 2 or 3 more times. Sometimes I go in, I'm like, you don't need me, like you're fine. Or sometimes I'm like, I actually don't know anything, so let's collaborate together. Let's watch some videos. Let's go up see another school if they do it better than us. So we've been trying to find other solutions because I feel like I don't always have all the solutions. And then I keep a tally of what supports are already in place. So if I'm going to observe morning meeting, just as an example, a lot of kids in their accommodations need a visual schedule. Like, what does that look like in that lesson? Like, are the supports in place? And then the highlights in the areas of growth. And then when we meet in our bi-weekly meetings, I want to talk about the observation or show a clip of a video or something. And so what does that look like? And I think, sorry, there's a flush. You know, I'm next to the bathroom. I think there have been a couple things that I've been thinking about deeply, which is that some admin roles are just to case manage, or they're just an HR type of role. And I really wanted this to be both, because I don't think I could have just been in an office doing paperwork. I felt like I really needed to be with kids. So I took this job, which is in a smaller place with more supports, so that I could do this kind of work, which is like have new teachers, really be able to coach them, do almost like curriculum and instruction type planning role, and like be able to do all of it at once. So I've really been enjoying it, and I think it's been honestly helpful. And I'm not trying to brag, I just think it's been helpful for a lot of people. So you're on my shelf, so let me put this back. Ooh. Okay, I don't know, let's see what we're planning. All right, so the day's kind of over. I'm gonna pack my bag and I'm gonna head home. I wanted to stop at Trader Joe's, but I don't really have the energy in me to do that. So I might order food tonight, if I'm being honest, because I want to do other things. I want to do a little Pilates, and I want to paint some more, watch some movies, not really clean my room, but I want to redo some of my closet stuff. We'll see what I have time for. I don't know, but I want to do a couple things. So I'm going to pack up and get out of here. It's a little late. It's 4:35, which is later than I normally leave, but I try to stay a little bit to finish paperwork and all that jazz. So time to go. Right, again, the lighting is terrible, but I'm not gonna take out my fancy lights just for a vlog. I'm sorry. I'm home now, and there was a lot of traffic getting home, so I'm kind of a little ticked, if I'm being honest. And so I have food in the air fryer. I'm in my pajamas, and I'm gonna go paint for a bit, like I showed yesterday. And just kind of like forget about the day. It wasn't a bad day. It's just I love having separation between like life and work. I actually wanted to talk about this in the car on my way home, but it was so dark outside that I wasn't going to vlog in the dark. But I enjoy like knowing, excuse me, I enjoy like having activities to do after work. I don't need them to be like big sporting events or like hanging out with friends every night, nothing like that. I just want to know that there are things happening. So one of the highlights for me in terms of like driving to and from work is listening to podcasts. And so I have a really great schedule of like what podcasts I listen to. My commute's pretty short. It's like 15-20 minutes. So it takes me like 2 days to get through one podcast and then 2 more days to get through the next. So I can get through them all in the week and keep up. I've talked about this before on my channel, but my favorite podcast is this one because it always talks about movies that I've seen, and it's just like lighthearted and something different than education. And sometimes I just don't want to listen to another ed podcast or teaching podcast or something. And then I usually try to do one activity when I come home, whether it's like going for a walk or doing Pilates or reading a book. I'm in a book club, and so sometimes the book club takes up time by me reading. We meet once a month. My work friends and I, we have dinner every other week, or we try to. It doesn't always work like that at someone's house. So that's kind of fun. And then one of my friends and I watch Jersey Shore every night. Thursday, I don't know why I said every night. Every Thursday night. So there's like subtle things. Certain people I call every day. So I try to do something else. I don't want to like bring my laptop home or like come home knowing I'm going to sit in silence. And I kind of started this routine my first year of teaching because I moved to a new city and I didn't know anyone when I was living in Providence. And so I kind of had to come up with a system or else I'd be sitting at home every night alone, which is depressing. So yeah, I'm going to finish that. I'm going to go paint and just kind of eat my dinner and thrive. I don't really know how I'm going to end the vlog. I might end it now. I might end it later. We'll see. We'll see.